Welcome back to Not Just Photography. Once again, I'm Anton Ng, and let me show you how to make the perfect steak. The first thing you need to do in making the perfect steak is make sure your steak is fully defrosted. Never cook a frozen steak. As you can see, my steak is bending and it's fully defrosted. That's number one. The second key step in making a perfect steak is patting the steak dry. Never cook a steak when it's wet. So as you can see, I'm going to pat the steak dry. Make sure you pat the steak dry on both sides. So take one side, flip it to the other side, and pat the steak dry. You never want to cook a wet steak. Make sure the steak is patted dry. Now let's move to part 3 of making a perfect steak. What you need to do to make a perfect steak is lightly salt both sides of your steak. So just lightly salt both sides of your steak. That makes the perfect steak. Now let's talk about cooking the steak. Remember, when you cook the steak, you always need to turn the heat to a medium-high temperature. So turn the heat to a medium-high temperature. Remember, when cooking the steak, always use a cast iron pan to cook your steak. And remember, when cooking your steak should always be at room temperature. So stick your hand in there and feel when it gets hot. When it gets hot enough, you add your oil. Now, as you can see, when I put my hand here, I know the pan is hot enough. Now we're going to add my oil. Make sure your oil fully coats the skillet cast iron pan. Fully coats the cast iron pan. So now let's add the oil. Now, as you can see, the oil is bubbling and is fully coating the cast iron pan. Now we're going to put the steak in the cast iron pan. So gently put the steak in the cast iron pan and try to put the steak away from you. Now the steak is in the cast iron pan. Do not flip the steak. Let it cook for 30 to 40 seconds until it's brown. Now the steak is still cooking. Move the steak around gently to make sure it's not sticking. Now it's time to flip the steak. Once you know the steak is nice and brown on the other side, it's time to flip the steak. Now you can see the nice and golden brown steak on the side. Now let this cook for maybe 30 seconds and turn off the heat. We'll just move the steak around to make sure it's not sticking. And now I'm going to wait 30 seconds and then I'm going to turn off the heat. Now you should take the steak out and put it in a plate to rest. Always let your steak rest for at least 5 minutes before you cut into the steak. Once again, thank you for watching Not Just Photography, and this is my quick lesson on how to cook the perfect steak. Once again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.